Hey everybody, I'm Mark Dannenberg with Options Moneymaker, and this is the Q&A session for Wednesday, May 19th. I have with me Aaron Rumley and Michael Kastner tonight. We'll be hearing from them in just a little bit. So I'm going to get right to it tonight. Most of you have been with us for quite a while and understand our mantra of learn to trade, trade to earn. We use all the tools and programs and teaching and education opportunities to help each of you trade. I want to also help you understand that we're constantly working on new refined ways of trading, particularly working with new cycle trading and analytics. And what we are working on is trade alerts, a possible trade alert opportunity for intraday options trades. I've been very focused recently on SPX 500 cash index options trades. I've also been focused on Amazon trades. I'll just tell you, the Amazon trades just knock it out of the park. So we're working on that. We're kind of refining what the approach would be. And hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll hear more about that if that's something you're interested in. We're also working on auto trading for futures trading. That's what we refer to as our CycleBot system. Auto trading allows us to set up CycleBot to automatically take trades based on signals that are programmed into TradingView and programmed into the adaptive entry system, which you all are familiar with in the live trading room or maybe through your own subscription. Also through some additional systems that we've been refining and testing. And auto trading CycleBot basically will sniff out the signals. It will find the signal. It will actually take the trade. It sends the trade to Infinity Futures, which is the trading platform that we use for futures, executes the trade automatically and exits the trade automatically. We've been running CycleBot now for a few weeks in sim mode. We're also running it overnight, not just during the day. So we run it basically for a 23-hour period, and it's getting more and more refined. We've worked out a lot of the kinks. CycleBot itself is working very well. The tool, the program that our friends at New Cycle Trading helped us create. And the next step is to really be very specific and thoughtful about what we want CycleBot to trade, whether it's AES signals or some other set of signals. And once we refine that, then we can turn CycleBot on to run 23 hours a day and just let it generate profits automatically. We had one of our best overnight days that we've had so far since we first started testing CycleBot. Coming into this morning, overnight we were trading NQ, ES, which is the S&P 500 futures. We were also trading RTY, which is the Russell 2000 futures, and we're also trading gold. The cool thing about CycleBot is it can trade multiple markets simultaneously. It can handle capacity that no human could handle in seeking out signals and basically being able to properly trade those. There was no human intervention because it was all overnight. We had some of the strongest profits that we've ever seen with CycleBot or ever seen in our futures trading. So we're pretty excited about that. We're making great progress, and eventually we hope to be able to come to you and say, here's an opportunity for you to take advantage of CycleBot. Also, we have an internal proprietary trading team who is starting to incorporate auto trading into their trading, and so a lot of really, really great news there. And then the other thing we're working on is what's called the Aurora system. So we have the profit flow analytics system, we have the adaptive entry system, and the Aurora system it builds off of those systems, builds off the adaptive entry system, and it actually refines some of the signals a little bit more, and also is designed to be able to leverage more from the trends. When we get into a long-running trend, there are lots of opportunities to stay in the trend using the right signals, the right parameters, the right settings. So all of that is being designed not just for us, but for you. And at the right times, we will make those things, those tools, available to you for those of you who are interested in expanding your personal trading business. All right, at this time in the Q&A, we always talk about how important it is to update your personal trading plan at the end of each day. I really want to emphasize the importance of the personal trading plan here. Let me go to, let's go here. So first of all, Aaron did a phenomenal job of building a tool that allows us to track every single trade every single day throughout the day. So here is the detail of the trading that we did today. And we record each trade based on the time that we entered the trade, whether it was a short or long. This is all based on the NASDAQ 100 futures, by the way, on a 5-minute chart. We record the time frame of the chart, what the signal was. There's 4 specific signals on the adaptive entry system, plus we trade fractals, and we record in a point value what our profit or loss was. So we're very transparent about this. We record these, we call out these trades in the live trading room every day, and we record whether we won or lost on the trade. And then at the end of the day, we can uh, take a look at the daily summary. And we have 3 categories that we track. Now, we started tracking 2 of these categories back in July of 2020 for the purpose of helping you see the value of not only tracking, but also using a personal trading plan, and more importantly, how to look at your trading as a business and look at the big picture rather than being confined to just looking at what happened today, what happened in this last trade, feeling good or bad, allowing your emotions to be confined to a very, very short period of time. We designed the personal trading plan and this tracking tool to be able to help you see the big picture. So what we do is we take the performance results every day and plug them into our personal trading plan. And we're doing that on a 9:30 to noon, taking all the adaptive entry system signals. We're doing that for a second category, which is trading from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., trading just the trend trades, the trend bias trades, and the trend continuation trades. And then this year, 2021, in January, we started a new personal trading plan and a new trading account where we're trading basically the live trading room hours from 8:45 in the morning to 4 p.m. or whenever we stop trading. Sometimes we stop trading as early as 2:30, especially on a Friday if we've had a really good week, or we want to just basically treat our Friday as a keep your profits Friday. But generally we're trading till somewhere between 3 and 3:30. We rarely ever go all the way to 4 o'clock. But this is an 8:45 to 4 category and is taking all of the adaptive entry system signals plus fractals. And so we can see the variances. So today, for example, May 19th, 9:30 to noon. I got to tell you, 9:30 to noon this morning was a bit of a challenge. Down 74 points if that was the only category you're trading. Down 74 points. If you took every trade, you started at 9:30 and you stopped at 12 o'clock. There were a lot of volatile gyrations this morning. In the 7 to 4 category, where you're taking just the trend bias trades and the continuation trades, we are earned 26 points of profit now on NDX, the NASDAQ 100 futures. Each point has a $20 value to it per contract, so multiply that times 20. And then in the third category that we started this calendar year, the first trading day of January, 8:45 to 4, actually earned 71 points. So you can see what a difference the morning was versus the afternoon. We started down 74 points, and then 8:45 to 4, basically, we ended up positive 71 points. So this is why it's so important not to get hung up on a single day. Let me just tell you very honestly, I want to be frank about this. If you got hung up on a individual day, you might have been out of the game. You might have shut down your trading business. You might have said, I can't win at this. Because we had last week 3 days in a row that were losses, and one of them was a pretty healthy loss. I wouldn't anticipate, if you're managing your business wisely, that you stayed around for 155 points of loss. But Aaron is very diligent. Michael's very diligent about making sure we record every single trade right up until we're done trading so that we have a full database of what the performance results were. At some point, I would have drawn a line in the sand and said, okay, I'm done. I'm looking at my personal trading plan, and I know that X number of points of loss on the losing days is a reasonable number, so I'd stop. I'd be shocked if anybody actually held for that amount of drawdown. But there were 3 days in a row that really contributed to perhaps some anxiety for some traders. But if you're focused on 3 days, you're not going to win this game. You're not going to succeed at your business. Your business is all about winning. Your business is all about winning in the big picture, not one day, not one day. Okay, so let me transition now to the personal trading plan, because this is where you can kind of level set everything. We have winning days and we have losing days. In that 9:30 to noon category, you can see where we put in what the loss was today. We're actually trading 3 contracts in this category. Okay, so it was a losing day. It was a fairly healthy losing day today. All right, it is what it is. But here's what's more important than that. And I can't emphasize this too strongly. I talk about this all the time. I know Aaron emphasizes it in the live trading room. Look at where you're starting. We started with $5,000 in the account the first week of July in 2020. Look at where your projected income is right now for a 52-week period, which is going to be done in about 6.5 weeks. The forecast is to have about $111,000 of profit. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. Yeah. So we had a fairly sizable losing day. We had a couple losing days back here. We had some big winning days back here. I cannot possibly run a business being hung up on what happens this hour, what happens this day. I have to be focused on big picture. I used to run a very, very large division for a corporation, Fortune 500 company. And if I was focused on what happened today, I would never have succeeded. You're going to have wins, you're going to have losses, you're going to have successes, you're going to have things that just challenge you. But if you keep your head in the game, this is one of the best businesses you could ever hope to have. So our winning average is 21.28 points a day. That's what we win on our winning days. On our losing days, we lost 47.34 points. We're taking those run rates. Those run rates are what are defining the blue shaded category, which is basically all of our history for the past 45.6 weeks. We've had 83 losing days, 83 losing days during the last 45.6 weeks, okay? Take all that into account, the winning days versus losing days, the winning averages versus losing averages, and the fact that we will not trade more than 3 contracts. We've allowed our personal trading plan to scale us up to 3 contracts. Our income projected for 52 weeks is $111,000. Okay. A couple months ago, it was projected to be $125,000. Okay. It's lower, but I don't want to demean this at all, but I don't really care. All I care about is, am I paying attention to my run rate? Am I paying attention to the big picture, the horizon out there, rather than today? If you can't stomach each day or each trade, you shouldn't be trading. It's really that simple. If you are in this to have a personal trading business, if you're in this for the long haul, if you're in this to make sure that you are successful over the course of 12 months, you can have a phenomenal business. And then it's just up to you to decide what hours you want to trade, how much time you want to devote to trading, and how much you choose to make. $5,000 in this account is where we started. Right now, the projection, just 6.5 weeks away, is to be at 111,000 by the end of our 52-week period. Now, our second category, I'm going to go through these quickly. We're going to get to Q&A here in just a minute. Our second category is trading from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and trading only the trend bias and trend continuation signals. Again, we're maxing out at 3 contracts. This account started the first week of July 2020 with $5,000 in the account. We've also had 83 losing days. Our positive day average is 25.27. Our losing day average is 43.06. In this category, we've inserted those into our forecast fields for the remaining 6.5 weeks. Forecast is to go from 5,000 to 174,290. That's not going to change significantly in the next 5.5 weeks. So we're pretty well locked on something that is, in my opinion, an outstanding return on our original investment. But here's the challenge. This is a real challenge. The challenge is, you as an individual trader, Aaron, Michael, and myself, Kristen, we are individual traders. you get hung up on this trade just gave me a 20-point stop out. Today was really a challenge for me, and you've identified it as a bad day. And you have a mental hurdle, an emotional hurdle to get past. The personal trading plan, which I'm showing you, is one of the best tools you could use to say, I'm going to plug in my win. I'm going to plug in my loss, whatever it is today. I had big loss back here. I had a big win here, I had a big loss here, I had a big loss here, big win here. Whatever it is, small wins, small losses, big wins, big losses, you plug it into your personal trading plan, and then you take a look at the upper left-hand corner here and go, okay, if I continue to do exactly what I've been doing for the last 45 and a half weeks, my income is projected to be $174,000, having started with $5,000. It's really quite simple, but the biggest challenge, the biggest complication, the biggest hurdle traders have is the emotional hurdle of what just happened on this trade. I feel bad. You assign all these feelings and emotions to your trading. Let me tell you, I'm not immune to that. Aaron and Michael are not immune to that. We feel it too, but we always fall back to the personal trading plan and go, okay, I don't feel very good about having lost $1,845 on Monday because I'm trading 3 contracts and I had a pretty bad day. But if I plug that in and I see where my projection is, and the next 2 days were winning days, I see that I'm still on pace to have earned $174,000 over the course of 12 months. Okay, the last category, we just started this in January of this year, January 2021. First trading day of the year. We have 19 and a half weeks under our belt. We're averaging 36.8 points a day on our winning days. We're actually averaging 70 points, just over 70 points on our losing days. We had 31 losing days in 19.6 weeks. So you can go down and you can look at the winning days, you can look at the losing days. It doesn't really matter to me what the individual days look like as long as the 12-month forecast is what something I consider to be a reasonable number. So in this case, we opened a third account. We had $5,000 as the starting balance in the account. I'm going to actually scroll back here because we started with one contract with $5,000. Boom, boom, boom. You know, we're making profits, and then we scaled up to 2 contracts, and then we scaled up to 3 contracts, and then we had this big losing day. Okay, that could be really discouraging for somebody who has a short-term, short-sighted view of their trading. But what it did was it scaled us back to one contract. Okay. We weren't out of the water. We'd given back some of the profits that we started with, but we're now back to one contract. And since then, we've scaled back up to 3 contracts. The personal trading plan is doing all that scaling for you based on a percentage of the account value. So you don't have to do that. So we're back up to 3 contracts. Yeah, we had a little bit of a setback early on, but I'm in this for a 12-month period. 12 months is the time horizon that I believe is reasonable. It was what was grilled into me as a corporate executive. I'm looking at a quarterly number, I'm looking at a 12-month number, and I'm looking to see whether or not we are on pace to achieve the performance results that were expected from my division. And in this case, you have a business. You are your own business. You are your own division. What expectations do you have of yourself? Here, you start with $5,000. You had a little bit setback early on. You are not trying to live off of this account just yet. You're trying to grow the account so that in year 2, you can pull out money, live on, and grow it again. Right now, the forecast with 19 and a half weeks under our belt is 219,400. I'm going to say I don't expect that it's going to end up being 219,000. I think we're going to get through, a few more weeks, a couple of months, and we're going to see something that is probably a more realistic number. It might end up being that much, might end up being lower than that. But right now we are on pace, given the current performance, despite some of these big drawdowns that we've had on individual days, big losing days. We've had other days that have been huge winning days, and we've had periods of time where we've had no losing days at all. We've had a series of winning days. So it's all a combination. I'm not getting hung up on individual days or individual trades. You take what the market gives you, 219,400. That's a huge potential income. We'll see what it is. I think the other numbers are pretty solid right now because we've only got 6.5 weeks to the end of our first 52-week period. 174,000 and 111,000. Any way you slice it, those are outstanding numbers, having started with just $5,000 in the account. What you need to do as an individual trader is to make sure that your head is on the right time horizon. If you're looking at today and you don't feel very good about your trades and you decide to throw in the towel, well, then you've decided to forego any opportunity in building a successful trading business for yourself. This is the long game. This is not the short game of today, the short game of one individual trade. So, there's some practical things in there. You've got to learn how to set limits for yourself. When I show you these numbers, and I say, listen, your positive day average is 25 points and your negative day average is 43 points. Well, if today you made 25 points of profit, you might want to stop trading because you know that keeps you on pace to earn $174,000. But if today you lost 43 points, maybe you want to walk away. You want to step away. You don't want to trade anymore because you know that you're still on pace to earn $174,000 or whatever category you're trading in. So that's up to you to decide what category you're trading in, and I'm not restricting you to just the categories I'm showing you. I'm just sharing with you that there is a variety of ways for this to be successful. So personal trading plan, in my opinion, is one of the most important tools that you will ever want to have in your arsenal. So we're here to help you learn to trade and trade to earn. We always emphasize learn to trade. We want you to trade in sim mode first. We want you to trade in sim mode for 30 to 90 days. We don't want you to risk any money while you're learning. We don't want your losses to be a result of a misunderstanding or not a full learning. We cover education every single day, all day in the live trading room. We're talking about futures trading education. We're talking about options education. We have programs for that. The adaptive entry system signals are what we're trading in the live trading room, and then the personal trading plan. These are the tools that we have created in conjunction with New Cycle Trading and Analytics to help you build a personal trading plan. If you want to learn more about any or all of those tools, you can go to optionsmoneymaker.com/investor2. Okay, we're going to take questions here in just a minute, but I want to emphasize something that I've talked about in a lot of these sessions, and I'm not really sure that many of you grasp the importance of this. When Aaron and Michael are sharing with you or calling out signals on the 5-minute NASDAQ 100 futures chart, they're calling out the short momentum. They're calling out the long trend bias. They're calling out the continuation trade. They're calling out the short consensus signal. 5-minute signals. The reason we use a 5-minute chart in the live trading room is, first of all, it's a very profitable way to trade. But the main reason is because it gives us an opportunity to go through a lot of displays of each of the signals. And it gives you an opportunity to really learn to effectively trade those signals. How should you trade those signals? What signals are you paying attention to? When do you close a trade? When do you reverse from a short signal into a long signal? Lots of opportunities to do that. But now I want you to take a step back. This is your personal trading business, and you are responsible for deciding how much time to invest in generating profits for yourself. So that's futures. We also have opportunities to use the exact same signals on trading cash indexes. So I've got the S&P 500 cash index on a 30-minute chart that I'm showing you here. Same signals right here. I've got an Amazon chart up on a 30-minute chart. And if you notice, I don't have all of the signals here. The only signals I have here are the trend signal and the trend continuation signal. Trading stocks, trading options on stocks is a very lucrative way for you to make use of the adaptive entry system signals. You need to remember that when we are showing you, we as a team, whether I'm there or Aaron or Michael, we are showing you how to use the signals. We are not saying this only works on the NASDAQ 100 futures, this only works on a 5-minute chart, and you'd have to learn in something entirely different. When I'm trading options, and I've been zeroing in on Amazon particularly lately, because the trend bias signal and the continuation signal is phenomenal on Amazon, especially if you're trading a 30-minute or even a 15-minute chart. This is some of the internal research that you can do on your own. But you look at trend bias signals. Here's a signal to go long. You ended up holding that overnight, right? Nice profit overnight. You'd be out of it here, nice profit. Here's one that didn't work out, but you're out of it pretty quickly. Here's a nice short signal that you could end up holding overnight. This particular short signal, I was actually holding this one overnight today, coming into today, and the trend bias signal on Amazon opened when the stock was trading at 32.82. I'm going to round off 32.82. This morning, the stock gapped down and traded down to 31.84. Okay, so that's almost 100-point move from the open. And if you're trading a 50 delta option, that's a $50 profit on that stock. Trading one contract, that's a $5,000 profit. $5,000 profit trading one contract of Amazon. And then it stayed in a short trend the rest of the day. I'm not in anything. There was another continuation trade that was getting on later in the day. This was such a nice profit, I ended up not taking that one. And then you get into a little bit of a choppy period here. You're going to have some choppy periods on options too. Here's my point, folks. Learn the adaptive entry system. Get your own adaptive entry system subscription so that you can focus on learning and looking back at what you want to trade. S&P 500 was a very similar situation. Here at 210 yesterday, there's a short trend bias signal that comes on at 41.56. It gapped down. You know, you're not going to catch the highs and lows, but it got down to 4,061. Good grief, that's almost a 100-point move on S&P 500. That is a huge move. Any 50 delta option is going to give you about a $50 profit on that. So anyway, NASDAQ 100 futures, S&P 500 cash index, Amazon, Tesla, bookings. I started taking a look at some of the cryptocurrency charts the other day. It works exactly the same way. You can trade ETFs, you can trade SPY, Qs, DIA, which is the diamonds for the Dow ETF. Trade whatever you want. The adaptive entry system is a gold mine for you. You just have to be able to see beyond where you're starting and expand your trading business so that you can make money. So those are my thoughts for tonight. I want to get into Q&A, so I'm going to start with Aaron here.
Gerald's asking, can the signals be used to trade cryptocurrency futures, Bitcoin?
The signals themselves, Gerald, can be used to trade whatever you want to trade. The signals are indicating to you when the right entry and exit timeframes are. Now, I would strongly suggest that you trade something you're familiar with or you become familiar with. So you'll see over here, I have a watch list of stocks and indexes that I like to trade. So here's AutoZone. Oops, I didn't really want to be on that one. I want to be over here. So if I look at AutoZone, I'm familiar enough with AutoZone to recognize when there is a good signal. And also part of being familiar is knowing about how much something's going to move. I don't recommend, we never recommend in trading futures that you hold for the full cycle, meaning the full reversal on a trend bias. You got to have some idea of what to reasonably expect. What I'm finding on Amazon is, although there are so much bigger profits, but almost every single signal I can take on Amazon, the stock's going to move about 20 points. A 50 delta is going to be about 10 points of profit, half of that, and 10 points of profit on one contract of an at-the-money option is about $1,000. So if you think about that in terms of NQ equivalents, that's 50 points. If you did 2 of those trades a day, that's 100 points. And I'm finding on Amazon that typically there's 1 to 3 trades a day that will offer that opportunity. So the answer is yes, they work on whatever you choose to trade, but do a little homework, do a little research, go back and look at the patterns and understand once you're into a trade, well, how much profit are you reasonably anticipating from that trade? How many times do you have a trade that, you know, it's got a nice setup to it, but ends up not working out? And what are your drawdowns or losses when those happen? You're still going to have losses on some trades. You just have to do some of your own research, but build yourself a watch list of something, of a list of stocks, ETFs, indexes that you're comfortable, and futures that you're comfortable trading.
Rod, Rod's asking, why is the 155 days so large? Is it because you didn't draw the line in the sand? And what is that line in the sand? What's a good number for that?
Well,
So the 155 day, the trades had profits on them. So Mark mentioned this before, but it's important to understand that our tracking of these trades is based on a very specific set of rules with no variation to them. We enter each trade with a 20-point stop and a 10-point profit target. And then once we have more than 5 points of profit on a trade, we'll move our stop to 5 points to guarantee ourselves at least 5 points of that. Now the market moves, it adjusts. Today it was wild, and we even talked about in the live trading room, maybe you don't want to lock in 5 points profit. Maybe you want to let it run to 10 or more. Maybe you want a trailing stop in at 8 to grab more profits from that. On that day, we were having profitable trades, just not trades that made it above 5 points to lock it in, or they moved too quickly. We couldn't put a manual lock in at 5 points. So trailing stops or limit orders were working better that day. But to keep all of our tracking very consistent, we stick to the very specific set of rules. And on that day, those specific set of rules weren't benefiting the trades. The signals may have been correct, but our stop was too tight. Or again, it moved too quickly. I know that was happening where I just couldn't get, because I'm taking these trades, they're not hypothetical trades. I personally couldn't get my stop in there fast enough, but if you had a limit order out there, you were able to grab a profit. Or if you protected your position by locking in maybe 3 or 4 points, you were able to grab profits. And so Mark talked about this a little bit earlier. We're tracking a specific set of rules, but you can always make adjustments to that as you start to learn the signals and as you are more comfortable with, in this case, NQ, or he was talking about Amazon or any other equity that you choose to trade. Today, it might have made more sense to have a larger stop, but if your account's not set up for that, keep your stop at 20, but maybe look at your profit target, raising that up to just 10 points instead of locking in at 5 points. There's flexibility on each day depending on the type of current market conditions that you're seeing. If you're seeing a very stagnant market, which we experienced a few years ago, when volatility was at historic lows, maybe it makes more sense to take just a few points. Or maybe you're holding for those longer trends, which you might be holding a trade for quite a bit, but you're just really taking advantage of the slow and steady trending market instead. So these are all variations that you can make, but what we track is a very specific set of rules.
Yeah, let me just add to that also that the tracking that you see, we track the entire day or until we close the live trading room. We tracked beyond when we might personally be done trading. We're not suggesting that anybody's holding for 155 points of loss, but by having all of that data in our database, we're able to go to our averages tab, and we have 233 days of data, and we can help you understand, including some of the biggest drawdown days, what the averages are. And so let me tell you, I would not sit here and be trading for 155 points of loss. That's insane. You got to have a stopping point, and the personal trading plan is going to help me know when to stop because it's all built towards an end goal 12 months out. So we are recording everything, knowing that you're not going to be in. You're not going to be in the whole time. So one last thing I'll comment about that, and the way Aaron built this tool, I mean, it's phenomenal. There are days, for example, let me just find a good example here. There are days here, okay? So here's a day where at one point during the day, taking all the signals, we're up 88.25 points. If you didn't stop trading, if you didn't pay attention to your personal trading plan, if you just kept trading, by the end of the day, you lost 11.25 points. Here's the next day. We're up 25 points at one point. Well, 25 points is pretty much in line with all three of the time frames and methods that we track on the personal trading plan. If you got 25 points and you decide to keep trading the rest of the day, if you traded all day, you might have ended up down 50.75 points. I think our tracking, my opinion is our tracking for 233 days of data is ultra conservative in terms of what you can produce, because we're including all of those days where any reasonable person would not continue to trade if their personal trading plan is saying, well, if I have 25 points or 30 points or whatever, I'm on pace to make $175,000 for the year. Why am I going to keep trading? So I think that the data is invaluable. Aaron did a phenomenal job of creating it, and it is presented in a way that, number one, it's fully transparent, and number two, it is ultra conservative.
I will say on that day, most people stopped trading when we were down about 60 points. We promote in the room stopping with a 20-point profit or a 60-point loss. That's one of the personal trading plans that is published on our website as well. It has an excellent run rate. It's about 88% win rate. So that means 12% you have losing days. Otherwise, 80% of the time you have winning days. And it's a 20-60 plan, 20 points positive, 60 points at negative at the stopping point. There's only been one day so far where we've experienced a 60-point losing day, and it came back to 20. So I had done some research about finding what on the downside was a good stopping point. That way you're not trading all day either. If you don't need to, you have a profit and you're done for the day. And it was 20 on the upside and 60 on the downside seems to be that sweet spot.
Okay.
Tapas is asking, what are your membership costs? I can send you the link that Mark was showing, that Investor2.
Yeah, there's a
link.
subscription cost to the live trading room. There's a subscription cost to have your own access to the adaptive entry system signals. And then there's one-time cost to purchase the personal trading plan or futures trading education or options trading education. So take a look at that in the link that Aaron is sending you.
I just want to add on, Christian was making a comment. He's in our live trading room. He was making a comment on that day where we had that losing day. You say a lot of the trades you couldn't lock in on, but trailing stops were working very well. Trailing stops are more of that automated part. So when the price sweeps quickly, it'll activate it even quicker than sometimes I can insert a stop.
Mark, Scott's asking about a SPY option. He said, if I was trading options on SPY and want to buy 2,000 to 5,000 worth of contracts, how would I know how many contracts are available to buy? I like to be reasonably certain enough there's enough liquidity to get filled and get out at my target.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Scott. So if you look at the screen here, what I've done is I've pulled up a options chain. So if you're familiar with trading options, you have an options chain. On the left side of the chain is a list of all the call strikes. Well, actually, not all of them. I have them limited to 12 strikes that are showing. but I could show all, I could show 40 strikes. So I'm just showing the ones that are closest to the money. And on the right side is a list of the strikes that are available for put options. So if you're trading at the money options are typically around a 50 delta. The delta column is right here. So today, SPY closed at 410 and 86 cents. So if I wanted to maybe trade the first strike in the money, I'd be buying a 411 put or maybe a 410 call. And so if I was going to buy to open a 411 put with a 53 delta, the volume of trading today was 13,400 contracts. The number that you really want to focus on is the open interest. In SPY, open interest is 17,000 contracts. If you're talking about maybe putting in, I think you said $2,000 to $5,000, so I'm just going to say 2,000. You're going to be trading like 10 contracts of this, and it's going to cost you about $2,500 to put that trade on. 10 contracts out of 17,000 contracts that are actively out there being held. And the reason that's important is because you want to know that you've got enough liquidity to get in and out. Now, if you start taking a look at some stocks, there are some very thinly traded stocks. Let's see if I can come up with one. There's thinly traded stocks where, you know, here's a strike that has 23 contracts. Well, if I'm somebody who wants to put on 10 contracts of something, I don't want to be almost 50% of the market on that strike. So that is a number that you can focus on, is the open interest. You're not going to have a problem with open interest if you're trading indexes, ETFs in particular. If I look at DIA, for example, which is the Dow Jones ETF, you know, you've got open interest of 3,300 contracts, 1,700 contracts. And if you have a strike, these are plenty for you to trade, you know, 10 contracts or so. But just say hypothetically you had a strike that maybe had 3 or 4 contracts on it, but another strike 2 strikes away has 500 contracts under open interest. That's the one that you want to trade. You can choose different strikes, you can choose different expirations, and just pay attention to the open interest. You don't want to own the market. You don't want to be the most dominant person in the market. I will tell you what happens when you do own the market on that strike. If there was 20 open interest contracts and you decided to trade 15 contracts, you will have no problem getting into the trade. No problem getting into the trade. The problem is going to come getting out of the trade and being able to get a reasonable price on those contracts when you close them.
I've even seen it where you place an order to close and the price of the option changes because you have so much of that strike.
Do you know that I used to actually do an example of that in a live seminar I used to teach during market days when the market was open. I had a couple of stocks that I would pull up and I would place an order in a live account. I would place an order at a certain price. And then as soon as I'd place the order, the bid-ask spread would widen by like $2 to $3. And then I would cancel the order and the bid-ask spread would come right back to where it was. So yeah, I used to do that just to have fun and say, hey, listen, I can control the market. So look at this. And it happens, but I generally don't trade thinly traded stocks. I trade ETFs, I trade indexes, and I trade some, you know, pretty highly traded stocks. Here's Amazon for this week expiration, Friday expiration, you know, 1,200 contracts, 600 contracts. Well, I'm not trading, you know, 300 contracts of this. I might be trading 1, 5, 10 contracts. That's plenty of open interest, in my opinion, to be trading these and be very effective. By the way, if you haven't heard me say this before, Amazon's a really great stock to trade and use AES signals. You can have your own software. You can follow along on a 15 or 30-minute chart. You can really knock it out of the park with Amazon. That's my opinion.
Brad's asking, are there videos we can watch to learn the signals before joining the live trading room? Yes, there are. You'll also get the link when you join the live trading room. But if you want a head start, there are quite a few videos on newcycletrading.com/education. I will send you that link. There is how to trade the adaptive entry system. There's how to trade fractals. There's even a couple videos that Mark has done on trading the Infinity Dome, which is the trading platform that we personally trade on for our accounts. You can trade in with whatever broker you want to, but we find that the Infinity Dome is very easy to get in and out of trade. So he has done a couple videos, and it's on New Cycle Trading's website, using a simple bracket and locking in, or using a trailing stop.
Mark Kevin's asking, can you tell me what the win rate is on the AES signals? And you can see the time. They're 8:45 to 9:30.
Yeah, so 8:45 to 9:30, I'm choosing all and fractals. The average daily is only 59.87 a day. The win-loss ratio is about just under 71%. If I take a look at 9:30 to 10:30, win-loss ratio is almost 80%. So 9:30 to 10:30, first hour of the regular market session, you can average about $214 a day. And then
10:30 to 11:30.
thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
He's saying he's looking for each individual signal.
I don't know if we have enough time to look up every signal here. $87 a day, about 76%. Yeah, pick one time frame, Kevin, and I'll show you each individual signal. You want to look at 9:30 to 10:30? Or do you want to look at 8:45 to 11:30?
8:45 to 3.
8:45, do you mean 3,
That's it.
Kevin? 8:45 to 9:30, okay. Okay, 8:45 to 9:30, the trend bias is 68% win rate. The continuation signal is about a 71.6% win rate. And the consensus signal is 71%. And momentum signal is about 71.7%. I'm going to change this back so that it's ready in the morning.
Mark, Jack's asking, what is your personal preference for a stop and target on Amazon?
So with what I've been doing recently, Jack, on Amazon is when I open a, hold on, I'm going to get to Amazon. When I open a new position, based on my personal research, I'm expecting that a high percentage of time, the underlying stock is going to move 20 points. So I'm setting a good till canceled order on my option to close for 10 points of profit because I am trading a 50 delta option. So I'm looking for 10 points of profit. Now, I would invite you to do some of your own research. You might find that you're more comfortable with 5 points or 8 points. Remember, 5 points of profit on a one contract option trade is $500. That's 25 points. That's 25 NQ equivalent points. I like to actually, I'm so used to trading NQ, I like to translate everything into NQ equivalent points. But there are lots of opportunities for that. So, here's a trade that started at 3:10 in the afternoon. You have to decide whether or not you want to take those and you want to hold something overnight. There can be some explosive moves overnight. Sometimes those explosive moves are in your favor and sometimes they're not in your favor. So you just have to be wise and decide what you're comfortable with. But in this case, the stock opened on this bar. I'm going to round off. The stock opened at 32.66. Next morning, it pops up to 33.01. Oh, you definitely, the next morning could have adjusted. You would have seen pre-market what it was trading at. You would have made more than 10 points on that. Here's a short that comes on at 2:10 in the afternoon. Stock opens at 32.65. Actually, it got down to 20 points on the next bar, so you're probably out for 10 points of profit by 2:30. Here's a continuation signal that comes on at 3:30. You're in the stock at 32.54. On the next bar, it's down 24 points, so you got another 10 points of profit. There's 2 trades on the same day. If you took 10 points on each, there's $2,000 of profit trading 1 contract. So that's been my experience.
And then Jack, the second part of your question. So we can pull up 9:30 to noon with a 20-point stopping point, but not the 60-point part. So the 2060 was research that I did, hand done research. It's not an automation part of this. So he wants 9:30 to noon. Sorry, I should have said that.
Sorry, no, I did hear that. I just didn't change it. Thank you. 9:30 to noon, not factoring in the 60 point. $200 a day average. So Aaron, am I correct in this, that $200 a day average is probably understated because it's taking into account losing days that are greater than 60?
Yeah. Yes, I would assume so. I haven't looked at the 9:30 to noon timeframe close enough to know if how many days we go negative 60. Do they end up back up 20? Those are things that I evaluated the 845. But I think through evaluations that we've done before, 15 points for a profit target starting at 9:30 seemed to be a better fit for this time frame, based on some things that we looked at before instead of 20.
For 9:30 to noon.
Yes.
Because there's days, Aaron sends me a note each day when AES 20 has hit the goal of 20 points or more. And sometimes that note's coming to me before the regular market session opens.
Like today.
Like today, yep. Which is awesome because the next note is, so can I have the rest of the day off?
You have not said yes yet, so
Well,
we'll see.
I've just chosen I don't respond at all, and I will allow you to decide what the right answer is.
Okay. Michael's asking, can you show pre-market performance? So 845 to 929 for AES and fractals separately.
845 to 929. I'm going to take off the 20. And you want to see AES without fractals and then fractals. So it's all, okay. So 845 to 929 is 29 points average, 67% win rate.
You average over just a little over 2 trades in that time frame.
Yeah. If we do just fractals, nice if this was alphabetical, but it's hard to get good help. Fractals is just under 8 points. You might have 1 or 2 trades during that period of time. That's a pretty confined time period.
And then 815 to 844.
Well,
yeah, 815 to 844.
15 to 844. Fractals, $57, just over 1 trade average. You're gonna have an 82% win rate. And then AES is about $38 on average. I'm going to just pull up one other one here. 8 to 9:30. So 8 to 9:30 is just under $100 a day. That's for all. I want to do all plus fractals right here. There you go. About a 70% win rate there. $148 a day.
Mark, Stan's asking, so with options, do you check the computer for signals every 30 minutes?
So Stan, I've got a lot going on during the day. And what I do, where am I here? What I do
I
is,
think you're in Michigan.
Michigan.
Yep.
We're on the
Yeah.
same page. Oh gosh, I almost said that out loud. But I was gonna put something in front of it, but I didn't.
oh boy, I love you guys too. So what I do, Stan, is because I've got a lot of things going on, and I can get easily distracted, I have a wake up alert on my 30-minute chart, or whatever chart I'm choosing to trade for my stocks, and it sends me a pop-up message. There's actually if I add an alert indicator here, and I add the AES, here's a new bar alert. Okay, so new bar alert, once per bar. I actually show a pop-up, and I try to choose the most annoying sound to Erin, the sound that she doesn't like very much. So it plays a sound. So if I'm at my computer, if I'm not at my computer, I'll hear the sound. And it's 30 seconds before the next 30-minute bar. I also have a pop-up in case I'm on the phone or distracted, or I've got music going or something going on, and it'll pop up right in front of me. And then I turn my attention to my 30-minute chart to see whether or not I'm going to have any kind of a trade, any kind of a signal. Other than that, I've got a good to canceled order set up on any trade that I already have open, and I don't really need to pay attention to the chart other than that. So I'm looking every 30 minutes whether there's different action I need to take, or possibly my trade has already closed out automatically while I'm focused on other things.
Bruce is asking if you'd please go over the lower indicators on the bottom of your chart.
All right, so from the bottom up, there is the profit flow oscillator. This is part of the very original version pre-AES, which was the profit flow analytics. So profit flow oscillator. Then this is let me. I guess I don't have that. This is another indicator that we are working on. This is called the Aurora indicator that we are working on developing. Normally, Erin and Michael will have the awesome oscillator in here, and we're using the awesome oscillator, but the Aurora is something that we're working on to both program our automated CycleBot program as well as do some testing. We're trying to, well, I'm not going to say we're trying, we are actually refining a process to be able to increase the number of points that you can easily earn on a daily basis simply by having additional signals over and above the AES signals. But normally the adaptive entry, the awesome oscillator would be here. And then this is the Cycle Finder Plus, which you see every day in the live trading room. And then this is a set of signals that's actually tied to the Aurora system that we've not released yet. We're actually testing and validating, but it's something that we are a few months into trading, testing, and validating, and we're finding some very, very, very strong performance. We were trading the Aurora system overnight on CycleBot, and I don't mind telling you what we're seeing. I'm not promising anything. We're not anywhere close to CycleBot being a tool that we would release for access individually yet. But we're working very diligently on that because we want to trade it internally with our proprietary trading team. We want to offer it to any of you who might be interested. But overnight, last night, we had CycleBot trading NQ, ES, which is the S&P 500 futures, RTY, which is Russell 2000 futures, and gold. So we had it trading 4 different futures contracts simultaneously. And when we came in this morning and we looked at it at 7 o'clock, so CycleBot kicked off at 6 p.m. Eastern last night and started sniffing for trades, following the parameters that we'd set. And when we came in this morning, we had $4,000 of profit. Now this is in sim. Full disclosure, that was not live. We're doing all of our testing in sim, and then we will gradually get into live trading. But overnight, CycleBot worked hard. We were sleeping, and across 4 different futures markets, he generated just under $4,000 of profits. If we did that live, if we see that it's consistent enough that we're ready to put live dollars into all 4 markets, and we definitely won't be starting with 4 markets when we go live, but that's kind of what we're working towards, trading multiple markets around the clock, 23 hours a day, and having no human intervention, and you're just kind of monitoring and making sure that you have it set up properly. Go back here just a minute. I think Richard wanted to see 10 to noon. Richard, you asked about 10 to noon. I'm showing all plus fractals. Yeah, the open, 9:30 open can be really volatile. Sometimes it'll move down 50 and then up 100 or vice versa. But the average is about 251 points a day, taken about 10 trades during that period of time. We've got about a 77.8% win rate.
Brad's asking if the rankings on the summary page, which is what we're on, is considering the best time to trade.
The rankings are based on what's shaded in yellow. So when you see a ranking of 1, it has the fewest number of negative days. It has the highest point value rank, total number of points that are accumulated. It has a ranking based on the win-loss rank. Now, in this case, the win-loss rank is a little lower than some of the other categories, but when you add them all together, the net value of those 3 categories says that it's the optimum category, time frame wise, profit production wise, negative day wise, win-loss ratio wise compared to the other categories.
Mark, Bruce is asking, do you think CycleBot will be released this year?
You're going to be banished now, Bruce. You're not supposed to ask that question. I don't know yet when we're going to release it. We will definitely not release CycleBot until we feel 100% confident that it is working exactly the way it should, and that we have a recommended set of signals for you to assign CycleBot to trade. So there's really 2 significant parts to the development of CycleBot. One was getting the tool and the program working so that it interacts intelligently, reliably with TradingView, and it moves a trade signal through the program directly to infinity in a nanosecond with minimal delay, so that you can trade automatically. That's the first part. We actually have the first part reasonably well developed. We have a team of programmers who are constantly tweaking. Kristen and I in particular are really dissecting and testing and evaluating CycleBot every day, and we're getting really all the bugs worked out. Okay, I feel like we're very close to having those bugs worked out. The next big deal is, what should we be trading? Should we be having CycleBot trade AES signals on a 5-minute chart? Should we have it trade trend bias and trend continuation signals on a 30-minute chart? What should we have it trade? There's so many different variables in that question that we are working through the process of being able to then come to you and say, we have a tool that we think works extremely well, and the most effective and optimum profit production is coming from this particular set of signals. So that's what we're working through. And it's the second part of that equation that is really a little more complex. We've spent the money, we've invested the time, we've built the program itself. Now it is a matter of really dissecting what we want CycleBot to trade overnight, which might be something different and a different set of settings than something that we trade during the day.
Kevin's asking if all signals 10 points means you're only taking 10-point wins. So on the summary page, all signals 10 points is basically just means AES. It's AES only, no fractals, exactly how we trade them in the live trading room. It has a 20-point stop, has a 10-point profit target. Once we get above 5 points, we'll put our stop at 5 points of profit. So it's exactly what we trade all day in the live trading room. Everything from this averages tab is picking up the individual trades that we record all day long. So it will always be within the specific set of rules that we trade every day in the live trading room.
No, it includes fractals too.
Does not, all does not.
Oh,
It has
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It does
All
not
plus
include
fractals,
fractals.
yes.
It'll say
Yes.
all in F if it were to include fractals, just like the last line.
I made a mistake. I'll put myself on corrective action.
It's okay. You're not the one that built the spreadsheet.
Who did? Michael, thank you for the spreadsheet.
I don't think so. Let's see. Michael's asking, can you be like Microsoft and release a beta version to a few loyal followers to test?
Well, actually, Michael, I know you might be just joking about that, but we will probably do that. We'll probably select a small group of clients, people who've been with us for a while, people who we feel confident that they really have a grasp of their own personal trading, and ask you to test it. Sign 100 disclaimers and say, hey, listen, I know you're testing, we're still working on it. So we'll probably do something like that. By the way, just to be really clear, we're not ready for anything close to that yet. I would like to think that over the next 3, 4, 6 months, we'll be ready for that, maybe sooner. But I like what we're seeing with CycleBot. I like the results that we're seeing with CycleBot. I like the overnight results we're seeing. And it's just a matter of really, as I said, refining which signals we want CycleBot to trade.
Mark, before you make that list, I need to tell you about Michael. So don't. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Because yeah.
Well, you guys,
I hold the keys of the kingdom, Michael. Okay.
you guys, Aaron and Michael, will have veto power over anybody that's on the list.
Oh, Michael, he's great. We have a lot of fun with him every day.
All right, I don't see any other questions out there, but I just want to close with a comment that David made. David's been with us for quite a while. I have a lot of respect for David. David has a tremendous amount of tenacity and desire to really build his business. And David's just making a comment, says, I've been with the team for a number of years and I got spoiled when I made $23,000 in a day. Yeah, that was a phenomenal day, David. I think we all remember that. I, for one, have struggled with a rough couple of days because I started with a small account, but I see that the system can do and what the system can do, and I plan on sticking to the plan and move on to a very successful business. Thanks to the team, do a great job. It just takes trust and confidence in the system, the team, because they want nothing else but for us to be successful and pay it forward. Thank you for that comment, David. Really appreciate that. That is something I hope we can do, that we can help you. and that we can help you build a successful business.
Mark, you said it earlier, excuse me, that we're emotional too. We have emotions. That's the hardest thing to do, is to trust it. If the signal comes on, you better take it. You got to trust it. And if you don't, and the minute you don't trust it is the one that's going to run. Or you know what I'm trying to get to with that?
Absolutely.
And that's just the biggest, I guess, speed bump in trading for even for me, 100%.
Michael, you are a very talented and skilled long-term pilot, and you have instrument rating. When you fly, you trust your instruments, right?
100%.
Because not trusting your instruments can create havoc for you and
Yes.
cause a lot of problems. And I think you remember, some of the people here in the room may remember, a friend told me a story which I shared here. He was a Navy pilot, and he was coming in for his very first landing on an aircraft carrier. It was his first time to land on an aircraft carrier. So he takes off, and they make him circle around for like an hour. It's not like you can take off and then just come back and touch down. They make you nervous for a while. Circling for an hour. He developed vertigo while he was flying, and everything seemed out of sorts. And all he remembered was his flight instructor drilled into him, you got to trust your instruments, trust your instruments. So he landed based on his instruments, and had he not, he probably would have hit the side of the carrier, because everything was out of whack for him. And he knew his instruments were right, and he was trying to set aside his belief, his mind telling him that something else was right, and he trusted his signals. And I think there's a lot of correlations between flying and trading. If you don't trust your signals and you don't trust your training, then you will likely crash and burn. If you decide to go out into an airport because you decided to play with a flight simulator for 2 days over the weekend, and you figure you're just a hotshot pilot, and you get your keys to a Cessna 172 and take off and land, you have a high probability of crashing and burning. With trading, if you come to trading and you observe in the live trading room and go, oh, this is easy, I'm just going to start my live account. I don't need to sim trade for a month or 2 months or 3 months. You're going to blow out your account, and you're going to lose any opportunity that you might have ever had to actually build a successful trading business for yourself. I want you to come. I want you to learn. I want you to pay attention to the signals. I want you to trust the signals. I want you to build a personal trading plan for yourself, which every business would have a financial plan. I want you to trade the signals, and I want you to trade for 1 to 3 months without risking any money, so that you can make every possible mistake that a trader would make, and you don't lose any sleep, you don't lose any money. And then you just have a natural step off into live trading. That's what you're going to do. And I'm going to speak for Michael again. I know he shared with me, thousands of times he's spent a lot of hours in a cockpit. But Michael, you spent a lot of hours in a simulator also, not just testing everything in a cockpit, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So lots of correlations. I can't emphasize enough. This has the potential for anyone interested to be the most phenomenal business you'd ever want to create. You're in complete control. You don't have any sales team, marketing team, office furniture, buildings, leasehold improvements, fleets, employees. You don't even need customers or clients. This is a business. You just need you. You need to pay attention to what you're doing. We will help guide you. We will teach you. We'll guide you through the winning days. We'll guide you through the losing days, and we'll help you see the horizon. That's what we're here for. And if you choose not to follow those things, then your business has a much lower likelihood of succeeding.
That's correct. Follow the rules, and don't let the guy on your shoulder that he stays with you every day try to talk you out of not taking that trade just because, oh, that's not going to work because this and that and the other, and it's going to work. It is what it is. Absolutely. Win or lose, you have to. That's all the signals.
Absolutely.
So important.
Kevin, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Kevin says last time you mentioned an open house. I don't
Remember
know.
we was gonna come, you invite us all to your house? You don't remember that?
Oh, well, everybody's welcome to come to my house. That's fine. That's whatever you want to do. That's fine. Just show up and bring something to pass.
Maybe
We're
a
about
free
to enter
weekend.
the humidity and heat season. Nobody wants to go visit you now.
Listen,
Maybe
if
the
we want
free
to
week or something, maybe.
if we want to compare heat and humidity, I
Oh,
don't think
boy.
it's me that wins that game,
No,
Michael.
sir. No, I'm not comparing. She is.
Well, both of you are way worse than my, 10% humidity.
Michael, yeah. Anyway,
Rod's
Kevin.
asking, for
I'm
those of
sorry.
us new to this process, what do you recommend we do on how to get started? Open our trading account first, get the charts first, watch the videos. So I personally would do it in this order. I would watch the videos. I would join the live trading room. I would contact Glenn at Infinity for a demo account and then move on from there. But that's how I would start everything, because we are helping teach these signals every day in the live trading room. The videos will give you a head start, and then hearing us identify the signals in the room. And then we always recommend sim trading, paper trading before you switch to a live account. So a demo account would be a good way to start as well, with Infinity's trading platform. And then that way you can follow along, get used to the signals, and then go from there, either purchasing your own AES subscription or staying with us in the live trading room and using our charts and switching to your live account. I would also recommend, the personal trading plan as one of the first steps too,
yes.
because you can use that as your sim trading, as your paper trading, to keep track of what your performance is, and it will help you forecast forward once you switch to live.
Right. I also strongly recommend you get your own subscription to AES pretty quickly after you learn how to trade the signals, because then you can start doing some of your own research. We're showing the 5-minute NQ chart every day, every signal, 8:45 to whenever we close the live trading room. But like I'm showing you, I love going back and looking at Amazon, Tesla, Netflix, Shopify, and understanding, well, where are my other opportunities? I don't want to be limited to just NQ. On the days, listen, folks, I've had days where NQ has been not very kind to me. You see some of those losing days on the daily summary, but on those same days, I've had trades, options trades, or trades on RTY, or trades on gold using the same signals that have given me profits that offset those losses. This is about diversification. If you've learned NQ and you've learned the 5-minute signals and you've learned AES with or without fractals, and that's all you trade, that's fine as long as you're comfortable with the range of performance. But this is about building an adaptive entry system process for yourself within your trading business that allows you to go trade whatever you choose and have a little diversification out there. Now, one of the reasons that I really want to build the CycleBot and the automated trading process, it's not going to be available for options first, but for futures, to give you an opportunity to automatically, without scanning, 1, 2, 4, 5 different markets, let CycleBot do it for you. Now, as I said, that's a few months away, but prepare yourself by understanding what markets really work for you. Okay, last question for the night goes to Ronald. Wants to know what the comparison is, 9:30 to noon, all versus all in fractals. So here's all and fractals, Ronald. For 233 trading days, 9:30 to noon, averaging about $374 a day, 64 losing days during that period of time, 77.7% win rate. All excluding fractals, is 240, just over $240 a day. You're going to do about 10 trades on an average during that period of time, just under a 77% win rate. So the win rates are reasonably similar. Obviously, the profit production is a little bit less here, but that helps you understand what to trade. All right, Michael, Aaron, do you have anything else?
No,
I
I'm
do
good.
not. Nope.
Good.
Okay. Thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate it. We're here because we want you to build a personal trading business. There are going to be people who come to us who will sample what we do. They'll have a couple of challenging days and they'll step away. They're not really committed to building a business for themselves. Those are people, I'm probably being a little too cavalier about it, but those are people who would rather walk into a casino, put some money down on a blackjack table, and you win or lose. There are other people that come to us, vast majority of people that come to us, they are looking for an opportunity to build a long-term income for themselves, build a business for themselves. They're not making excuses. They're recognizing that they're going to have strong wins. They're going to have some losing, challenging days. And it's just a matter of focusing forward and using the personal trading plan to help build. And you're not going to stumble initially because you're going to trade in sim mode for 1 to 3 months. And you're going to have a very reasonable idea of what your run rate is. And when you start live trading, you've already established a run rate in your personal trading plan based on your sim trading. This is a matter of buying a franchise, getting into your business, preparing yourself, buying the training and the support that you need, investing in yourself, and building a long-term income. So I'm going to close out tonight with this last comment that if you could, if I can find it, here we go. If you could start with $5,000, and I don't know, maybe you want to start with 10,000, give yourself a little more cushion. If you can start with $5,000 and over the course of 12 months, you have a reasonable expectation that you could end up with maybe 219,000 or 174,000 or 111,000 of income, is that reasonable to you? There's a different answer for everybody I ask that question to. I personally think it's very reasonable. Last thing I will say about this is, what if you like trading 9:30 to noon, but you really was hoping to make a little bit more than 111,000? You could actually adjust your contracts, and you don't have to use a minimum of 5 or a maximum of 3 contracts. Sorry, you could increase it to 5 contracts, and it will only increase to 5 contracts beyond the date at which you are entering that in. Everything else in your history remains at 3, so you're not fooling yourself. So all of a sudden, if for the rest of the 52 weeks, another 6.5 weeks, you upped to 5 contracts, you have the potential of increasing your income to something a little greater. But if you don't, I personally think that starting with 5,000 and going to 111,000 is a pretty reasonable business for most anybody to build. Okay, so thank you, Michael. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Aaron, thank you so much for the tools that you've helped build, for taking care of the live trading room clients every day. I'm going to devote my time to continue working with Craig and our team on CycleBot, building CycleBot, and developing the new Aurora system. Aurora system has so much potential to it. It's kind of mind-blowing when I see what it can do on a daily basis, and something that's going to be exciting to be able to release to each of you at the right time. So have a great night, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for another day of trading in the live trading room.